Amy, let me tell you about a magical place that is so exactly designed to be enclosed space, year-round fun for the whole family that I bet you already know what I'm going to say before I even say the name. Let's say it together on 3. 1, 2, 3. Great Wolf Lodge. You got it, Amy.
My kids loved Great Wolf Lodge when we went. You probably already know that it has a huge indoor water park with a wave pool, lazy river, a bunch of massive water slides. But then your pack can hit the other attractions because, wait, there's more.
Great Wolf Lodge has adventure-packed attractions like Magi Quest, a live-action game kids can play throughout the lodge, plus the Northern Lights Arcade. Spent some quality time there, so your kid who loves the lazy river and your kid who loves fantasy games will both have a great time.
Great Wolf Lodge also offers great dining options and complimentary daily events like nightly dance parties, all under one roof. Unpack the car once and you're settled in to have fun. And with 22 lodges across the country, you're always a short drive away from adventure.
We've both had such great times at Great Wolf Lodge, so bring your pack together at a lodge near you. Learn more at greatwolf.com and strengthen the pack.
Welcome to Ask Amy from What Fresh Hell Laughing in the Face of Motherhood, solving your parenting dilemmas one question at a time. This week's question came from a listener in our Facebook group who asked, I have a 5-year-old boy who cries wolf. He's constantly crying as if he broke a bone or has been severely injured after minor bumps and falls. It's gotten so frustrating that I've stopped responding altogether. Has anyone else had a kid like this? What did you do and find helpful? So before we start, The Boy Who Cried Wolf, just in case somebody listening doesn't know what that story is about, it is a fable about a boy who thought it was a lot of fun to stand outside the village and yell, wolf, wolf, help, I'm being attacked by a wolf. And everybody would come to help him. And then he'd, ha ha, laugh. I tricked you. I tricked you. He does this twice. Then the third time he really is attacked by a wolf and he yells, wolf, wolf, and nobody comes to help him. And that little boy learned a lesson that day. So, of course, the little boy in this is not being so devious and duplicitous as that little boy, but it can be completely annoying and also a little confusing when you have a kid who just kind of makes a lot out of nothing like this. Yes, there are some kids like this. I had a kid like this, and we'll talk more about that later. But the first thing to do when you have a kid who is weepy and easy to cry, the first fix is to make sure they're getting your positive attention and lots of it elsewhere. That this kid is getting lap time and story time or Legos time with you or whatever it is when nothing's wrong, so that they don't have to seek out your attention in negative ways. The second thing is when a kid does cry about a minor bump, scrape kind of thing, we all know that the easiest thing to do is sort of calm redirection. I don't think complete ignoring is necessary because it might instead just cause the kid to dial it up until they do get your attention. It's more sort of about calm redirection. You give it sort of one, oh my goodness, and then you redirect. This works no matter what age kids are. If you can calmly redirect them to the next thing, they will hopefully quickly enough forget what it was that they were so upset about. Screaming is never allowed. If they're going to scream and carry on at the dinner table, maybe they have to go be by themselves. You can put boundaries around it, but give it neither too much positive or negative attention, as was already your instinct. Now let's talk about the sensitivity that might be underlying this. I mean, you definitely have a sensitive kid, a kid who cries about boo-boos that maybe other kids, maybe your other kids wouldn't have made a fuss about. So you definitely have a sensitive kid. That much is evident. And it might be worth getting curious about how sensitive. Some kids kind of seem to be overreactive to pain, and it's because they literally have a nervous system that's overreactive to pain. They're not making it up. I had a little one like this, that everything seemed to be a big deal. They'd cry a lot over injuries that seemed minor. It was sort of baffling to me. And then that kid went on to start having migraines a couple years later. I'm not saying that's what's happening here. However, if this kid is a kid who hates swings, if this kid hates things that spin, if this kid is quite prone to motion sickness, things like that, you might have a kid whose nervous system is actually particularly sensitive and they're not making it up. So I'm not saying that's what's happening, but I am saying it's worth sort of collecting some information on this. Is your kid also crying about every emotional disappointment, every lost game of Candyland, or is this restricted to seemingly small physical injuries? How much is this stuff really bothering your kid. The way to look into that is this kid saying his ankle hurts and then he's limping even when he doesn't think you're looking? Is this kid very easy to distract or redirect with an episode of his favorite show, or is he still sniffling half an hour later? Does this extreme crying at minor injuries happen only when they're tired or after a very long and stimulating day, or does it happen when they're well rested and just had breakfast? Is he sleeping fine at night despite saying his elbow really hurt at dinner time, or is his sleep being disturbed? Is he coming to get you? This stuff can seem really obvious in retrospect, but in the moment, it's just sort of like your elbow can't hurt that much. You didn't hit it that hard. That wouldn't hurt me that much. And that might be true. And you might have a kid who just likes being dramatic, or you have a kid who just is a little more sensitive. And the actual physical sensitivity can come with increased emotional sensitivity. And it's not something you can ignore out of them. And it's not something you can diminish and deny out of them. It's something that you can accept, put boundaries around that work for the entire family, redirect them, love them, and try to pull out of it whenever possible how annoying it can be to you. Because of course it's annoying to you, and of course it's ridiculous and they're carrying on about nothing, but try to separate out the idea that they're doing this in order to do that. Their motivation might just be like, wow, this hurts and I need some help, Mom, more than I'm getting into this to see how much of attention I can get out of it. Going through a little process of discernment for yourself and taking these concerns to your pediatrician if you really do see like, wow, this kid really is limping 2 days later from bumping the chair, then that might be worthwhile. Not to be alarmed, not to overthink this, not to helicopter parent a kid who's perfectly healthy, but just to reset maybe your expectations and your ability to meet this kid who cries over little things with a little more compassion, which will make things easier, not just for the kid, but also for you. Send us your parenting questions and we might answer yours next. Email us questions@whatfreshhellpodcast.com. Thanks for listening.